Hello, everybody. It is Friday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My name is Adam Bittner, assistant sports editor for multimedia at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, joined for the first time on our brand new Pitt YouTube channel by Jason Mackey, our Post-Gazette sports columnist. Pitt plays Duquesne this Saturday at Acrisure Stadium to open the season. College football is back. Jason, before we dig into expectations for Pitt this season, I want to talk about this opener a little bit. They kick off against Duquesne, first time since 1939. I think it's awesome. However, can you believe that they're playing in football but not basketball?
The wrong city game, Adam. It's the wrong city game. They should be playing in everything. I know that's a common denominator with college sports. Like, we can look at Pitt and Penn State and say they should play every year. Same thing for Pitt and West Virginia. I agree with all of that. Logistically, this is the easiest one of those to pull off. I mean, this should be a no-brainer, although I guess I don't see Pitt going up on the bluff to Rooney Field to play over there. But I'm excited about it, man. Duquesne does not get the attention it deserves program-wise. They've got some talent. Just a fun story. The first thing I ever did in media was at Westminster College, and I switched to broadcast comm, and I was hosting my own TV show called Coach's Corner. And the very first coach I interviewed, one Jerry Schmidt, now the head coach of Duquesne. So it'll be good to see Jerry down there on Saturday. I hate to say this. I see this game being kind of lopsided. I do think Pitt is going to want to come out here and make a statement after how the Panthers finished last year, but I wish it was played every year. I know that.
I want to know how many times in college football the home team at its home stadium is further away from its home stadium than the team that they're playing that day.
I didn't even think of that.
It is closer by distance, right? There can't be many college football examples of history quite like that, other than like neutral site games. But this is a home game for Pitt. There is a team that is closer to their home stadium than them, and they are playing them. I think that's very fascinating, a very college football nugget. But Jason, let's get into the season. You wrote about Pitt this week and how finishing is the word of the year for them. Do you think they're good enough that it's that simple, and that they're better than enough of this conference that they just have to prove it and just finish those games? Or is failing to finish what makes them the upper middle class ACC program that they
are? Interesting distinction. I don't think they're good enough to, if they're finishing, finishing isn't going to take them to Charlotte. Maybe I'll say it that way. Now, if I'm in that program, like, do I focus on that? Does that leave a sore taste in my mouth? Do I think I can get into the college football playoff if I finish and play well down the stretch? Yes, I do. I think they can get there. I don't think that's unattainable for Pitt, and I could see multiple ACC teams getting in. Maybe no more than 3, but again, top end, like very rosy Pitt picture, sure. I don't know if I see them finishing as what holds them back to winning an ACC championship. The point of that column was something that was relayed. There's one of those things where if you interview a bunch of people in a row and they seemingly all drift toward the same talking point, it's like, hey, idiot, pay attention. They're clearly like chewing on something over there. So that's where that came from. And I don't blame them for how they finished last year.
Yeah, but I think finishing is enough for them to be 3rd or 4th in this conference, Jason. And then that gets you to the point where if a couple things go your way, you can get to Charlotte, and then you have a chance to play your way into the college football playoff. A lot of people love this Clemson team.
Maybe we're saying the same. We might be saying the same thing, because I agree with that. That
they might be the 3rd or 4th
best team in the conference. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they're better than Clemson. I don't think they're better than Miami.
Yeah, just for context for everyone, they were picked 9th. So I think the question is, are they better than 9th? And I think that they can be and are. I think they have the guys at the skill positions. And I'm not buying the Clemson hype, to be completely honest with you, Jason.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that they're all – after the program, we've watched them deteriorate from being that dominant program in this conference to the point that Pitt was beating them at home multiple times, winning the ACC title because Clemson has not been that program. I'm not saying that I don't think they're the best team on paper, but we have not seen them play out that way. They get picked this way every year. They haven't been that program in several years. So I don't know if you put them on the same field as Pitt next year. I mean, that game was so close at Acrisure Stadium a year ago. Cade Klubnik makes that one play, breaks things open. But Pitt could have won that game.
Klubnik's a star, man. I think Clemson's going to win the ACC. I think Klubnik's a star. I mean, Dabo's using the portal now. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Like, I see them being pretty good. I'm buying the hype.
I think they'll be good, but I think if you get Pitt in a scenario where they've had a good enough season to get to Charlotte, I'm not writing Pitt off in that game.
Okay.
I think where I'm going with that. Let's talk about Eli Holstein because he was a big part of your column. Yep. Is there any path for this team that does not involve him having an exceptional Kenny Pickett level year like we saw in 2021? Can he just be good and them get where they need to go, or does he need to be great?
I don't think there's any path to Pitt having success with mediocre quarterback play. And I'm sidestepping that question a little bit because of Cole Gonzalez. Like, a guy familiar with Kade Bell's offense. If it's not Eli and Cole comes in and does that, maybe. But that would be, drastically elevated quarterback play. It would not be mediocre. So I think it's much ado about nothing, Adam. I think Eli Holstein's going to have a really big year. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC. I mean, I could put him right below Cade Klubnik in my mind. I mean, maybe one or two guys in there, but I think Eli Holstein, I think we saw mostly the real version of him last year during the first 7 games. So I don't know. Short answer, I guess, is yes. I think he needs to be and will be more akin to Kenny Pickett than, what they've had the past couple of years.
I know you spent some time with Desmond Reid. Mentioned a lot of that in the column as well. What are you seeing from him, and what are your expectations of him as kind of the lead skill guy on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any question whether Des Reid can do some damage when he's on the field. The question I have is whether Des Reid can stay on the field, and how I almost said the Steelers, how the Panthers can strike the proper balance with him. And it's tough. I mean, this is a very difficult needle for Kade Bell and Pat Narduzzi to thread. And Desmond Reid is their best offensive playmaker by far. He can do darn near anything. He's also undersized, and he plays an underrated physical game. So do you give it to him 30 times and risk injury, and then you lose your best guy, or do you try to preserve him? Behind them, I mean, they have Jules Goff and a bunch of question marks at running back. So I don't know how to walk that tightrope. I guess if they have a lead, take Des Reid out of the game, use somebody else. You need to be cognizant of his health. I need to keep him on the field. If he's on the field, I don't have any questions about his performance. I worry a little bit about being injury prone or banged up. It's been the story for him so far.
Jason, let's get to the predictions. What is your record pick for this team? Is it anything other than 7-5, 8-4? Those numbers we seem to see from Pitt every year except 2021.
Yeah.
Or is it 9-3? Is it something closer to what we thought that they were on the trajectory for? Or maybe you can get into that Pop-Tarts Bowl that everyone's talking about every year. Maybe you can get into a bigger game, even if it's not the college football playoff, elevate your profile a little bit and get some momentum going around you as a program.
I think, 10-7, 11-6, first round win wrong school. Kidding. No, actually, I think it could be a cut above that, Adam. I do. I'm going to go with 9-3. I'll go with 9-3. Some overly optimistic predictions. I think they upset one of the big boys on their schedule. Maybe that's Notre Dame here. That would be impressive. Maybe it's Miami. I don't know. I think they're going to pull something out, and then they'll probably stub their toe somewhere along the way too. So that would be the most Pitt season ever. But I'm saying 9-3, and they actually wind up in one of the more prominent bowl games. I don't know where 9-3 would put them. Maybe a cut above the pinstripe. I've seen them going there a lot. You're probably on the fringe of a college football playoff game at that point. I don't think you get in as a 3-loss ACC team, but you might at least be in the conversation.
No, I think you pretty much got to get to Charlotte to have a chance at an at-large, kind of like SMU did last season, where they didn't win, but they played well enough. That game was how everyone justified getting them in. It wasn't necessarily everything before that. It was them being on that stage. I remember because I was at the Big Ten title game that night between Penn State and Oregon. Those were the two best teams playing that night, but everyone was watching the ACC game because they wanted to see if SMU deserved to be in. They proved it. Can Pitt get into that slot? I think is maybe their best case scenario. Can you back your way in via tiebreakers and then have the nation watching you and get some people on your side, because that matters, whether it's short or not in this playoff format. But that it does matter to get people on your side, and I think that's what they need to do if they have any aspiration of getting there. But Jason, thanks for chatting with me about Pitt. Looking forward to doing this all season, getting your takes on the Panthers. If you haven't already, subscribe to this brand new channel. We'll be doing it every week. Abby Schnabel, Stephen Thompson are going to have great content coming your way as well. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Help us out in the YouTube algorithm, and we will talk to you all again next week.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.